Greetings, everyone. This is Pastor Kevin from Woodcrest again, and we are continuing our reading the New Testament in 2026, and we are in chapter 17 of the book of Acts. Here we go. Then they traveled through Amphipolis and Apollonia. See, everyone struggles with these names, and that's okay. And came to Thessalonica, where there was a Jewish synagogue. As usual, Paul went to them, and on 3 Sabbath days, reasoned with them from the Scriptures, explaining and showing that the Messiah had to suffer and raise from the dead, and saying, "This is the Messiah, Jesus, whom I proclaim to you." Then some of them were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, including a great number of God-fearing Greeks, as well as a number of the leading women. But the Jews became jealous, and when they had brought together some scoundrels from the marketplace formed a mob, they set the city in uproar, attacking Jason's house. They searched for them, bringing them out to the public assembly. When they did not find him there, they dragged Jason and some of his brothers before the city officials, shouting, "These men who have turned the world upside down have come here too, and Jason has received them as guests. They are all acting contrary to Caesar's decree, saying that there is another king, Jesus." The Jews stirred the crowd and the city officials who heard these things. So taking a security bond from Jason and the others, they released him. As soon as it was night, the brothers sent Paul and Silas off to Berea. On arrival, they went into the synagogue of the Jews. The people, who were more open-minded than those in Thessalonica, since they welcomed the message with eagerness and examined the Scriptures daily to see these things were so. Consequently, many of them believed, including a number of the prominent Greek women as well as men. But when the Jews from Thessalonica found out that God's message had been proclaimed by Paul in Berea, they came there too, agitating and disturbing the crowd. Then the brothers immediately sent Paul away to go to the sea, but Silas and Timothy stayed there. Those who escorted Paul brought him as far as Athens, and after receiving instructions from Silas and Timothy to come to him as quickly as possible, they departed. While Paul was waiting for them in Athens, his spirit was troubled within him when he saw the city was full of idols. So he reasoned with the synagogue, with the Jews, and with those who worship God, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened there. Then also some Epicurean and Stoic philosophers argued with him. Some said, "What is this pseudo-intellectual trying to say?" Others replied, "He seems to be a preacher of foreign deities, because he is telling the good news about Jesus in the resurrection." They took him and brought him to Areopagus, and said, "May we learn about this new teaching you're speaking of? For what you say sounds strange to us, and we want to know what these ideas mean." When all the Athenians and the foreigners residing there spent their time on nothing else but telling and hearing something new, then Paul stood in the middle of Areopagus and said, "Men of Athens, I see that you are extremely religious in every respect. For I am passing through and observing the objects of your worship, and even found an altar on to which was inscribed, 'To an unknown God.' Therefore, what you worshipped in ignorance, I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it, he is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in shrines made by hands. Neither is he served by human hands, as though he needed anything, since he himself gives everyone life and breath and all things. From one man he has made every nation of men to live all over the earth and has determined their appointed times and the boundaries of where they live, so that they may seek God and perhaps they might reach out to him and find him, though he is not far from each of us. For in him we live and move and exist, as even some of you, of your own prophets, have said. For we are also his offspring. Being God's offspring, then, we should think that the divine nature is like gold and silver or stone. And shouldn't we think? We shouldn't think that the divine nature is like gold or silver or stone, an image fashioned by human art and imagination. Therefore, having overlooked the times of ignorance, God now commands all people everywhere to repent, because he has sent a day on which he's going to judge the world in righteousness by the man he has appointed. He has provided proof of this to everyone by raising him from the dead. When they heard this about the resurrection of the dead, some began to ridicule him, but others said, "Well, we will hear you about this again." So Paul went out of their presence. However, some men joined him and believed, among whom were Dionysius, the Areopagite, a woman named Damaris, and others with him. All right, friends, that is chapter 17. See you next time. God bless.